Perhaps you've been startled by a snake slithering in the grass. Maybe you've seen turtles basking in the sun on a log. If you live in a warm climate, you may have seen prehistoric-looking alligators. Or maybe you've seen frogs or salamanders in a nearby pond. These animals are examples of amphibians and reptiles. What exactly are amphibians and reptiles? What are their general characteristics? What are their origins? How are they different from each other? How are they different from other vertebrate animals? And what are some of the various groups of amphibians and reptiles? During the next few minutes, we're going to answer these questions and others as we explore the fascinating features of amphibians and reptiles. If you've ever seen frogs, salamanders, or toads, then you're familiar with examples of a diverse and abundant group of vertebrates called amphibians. Most present-day amphibians are relatively small and go largely unnoticed by humans. But amphibians are among the most numerous terrestrial vertebrates and have become quite successful at adapting to many different habitats. So what exactly is an amphibian? An amphibian is a vertebrate animal that's well adapted to both life in water and on land. While some amphibians, such as toads, live their entire adult life on land, others, such as this frog, dwell in or around water. A key characteristic of most amphibians, but not all, is that they live part of their life in the water and part of their life on land. Most amphibians lay eggs in the water that eventually hatch into a distinct larval form that is quite different from its adult form. You observe. Describe this frog larva. This frog larva, called a tadpole, has a central body, no legs, and a tail. Tadpoles breathe through gills, and in some ways they're similar to fish. As time goes by, however, the tadpole goes through a process called metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a series of changes that young animals undergo as they become adults. Over time, legs emerge, the tail recedes, and lungs develop that enable them to live life on land as adult frogs. Most amphibians go through the process of metamorphosis. Adult amphibians possess forelimbs and hind limbs. The hind legs in frogs are adapted for swimming in the water and jumping on land. Most adult amphibians possess two lungs. Air enters the body through a pair of nostrils. Most amphibians also have the ability to breathe through their skin, supplementing respiration by the lungs. Amphibians possess a three-chambered heart that pumps blood throughout the body via a network of blood vessels. They possess a double-loop circulatory system, with one loop of vessels going to the lungs and another loop that consists of blood vessels spread throughout the body. The amphibian digestive tract is similar to that of humans in that it includes a mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. Like humans, amphibians have a central nervous system and a peripheral nervous system. Generally speaking, the brain is not as well developed as in higher vertebrates. Many amphibians have well-developed senses, of which a number function in both aquatic and terrestrial environments. Early amphibians most likely evolved from lobe-finned fishes. You decide. What features did amphibians need to develop to adapt to life on land? In order to adapt to life on land, amphibians developed legs, enabling them to walk, and lungs, enabling them to breathe. The first amphibians evolved about 370 million years ago. Presently, there are over 6,000 species of amphibians. There are 57 different families in the three orders, Anura, Urodela, and Apoda. The order Anura includes frogs and toads. Both have similar body shapes, including 4 legs, with the hind limbs adapted for jumping. An important difference, though, is their skin. Frogs have smooth, moist skin, whereas toads have dry, bumpy skin. Toads can live in drier environments than frogs, who need to have their skin constantly moist. Salamanders and newts belong to the order Urodela. These organisms have elongated bodies, 4 legs, and long tails. Most live in moist places. While this organism looks like a worm, it's actually an amphibian in the order Apoda. These tropical soil-dwelling animals lack legs but possess other amphibian features. Today, amphibian populations are declining at an alarming rate, with some species becoming extinct. This is a serious environmental concern. If you've ever held a snake, lizard, or turtle in your hand, you may have been surprised that it felt smooth and dry. Reptiles in the class Reptilia are vertebrate animals that are well adapted to living on land. What are some of these adaptations? One adaptation is a watertight skin covered with scales. You decide. What purpose does this serve? The watertight skin, covered with scales, helps prevent water loss. To breathe on land, reptiles possess well-developed lungs, protected by a rib cage. This adaptation enables them to live far from water. Many reptiles, such as lizards, possess strong, well-positioned legs that enable them to run quickly or to climb. Most reptiles are carnivores. They use powerful jaws to capture their prey, but they do not thoroughly chew their food. Digestion tends to be a long, slow process. While reptiles require large amounts of energy to move on land, they're ectothermic, meaning they do not maintain a constant body temperature. If their body temperature is too low, they lie in the sun. And if it's too high, they seek shade. Being ectothermic limits reptiles to functioning in moderately warm temperatures. Unlike amphibians, reptiles are capable of laying eggs on land. This is due to the structure of the amniotic egg. The amniotic egg is watertight and consists of several layers of membranes. Among other structures, it includes a food source for the developing embryo in the form of a yolk. Because the eggs are so well designed and developed, fewer need to be laid to successfully produce highly developed offspring. Due to the success of the amniotic egg, reptiles have been able to inhabit a wide variety of terrestrial environments. This is Dinosaur National Monument, located in northwestern Colorado. It's noted for its diverse abundance of dinosaur bones. These 150-million-year-old bones have helped scientists to better understand these huge reptiles that lived here millions of years ago. Dinosaurs were the largest animals to have ever roamed the planet. They were a highly successful group of vertebrates. These species proliferated during the Mesozoic era into a wide range of dinosaur species, including those that flew, swam, and walked on land. Toward the end of the Mesozoic era, 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs began to decline and eventually became extinct. While scientists aren't quite sure what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, possible explanations include gradual climate change caused by the drifting of the continents or changing topography, or a more dramatic change in the environment due to a huge meteor crashing into Earth. There are over 8,000 different species of reptiles found throughout the world, excluding the coldest regions. In the class Reptilia, there are 4 living orders. The order Rhynchocephalia includes only 2 living species, called Tuataras. Tuataras are long lizard-like animals that grow up to half a meter in length and dwell on the islands off the coast of New Zealand. A group of reptiles with which you're probably more familiar are in the order Colonia. This group includes sea turtles, tortoises, and freshwater turtles. You observe. What's the main distinguishing feature of these animals? That's right. It's a scale-like shell that surrounds the animal's body. In many species, the head can be drawn inside the shell, protecting it from predators. Legs emerging from under the shell are used for walking or swimming. The large order Squamata includes lizards and snakes. Even though these animals are in the same order, they appear quite different from each other. Most lizards are 4-legged, while snakes don't have legs. Both types of reptiles are covered with scales. Most lizards and snakes are carnivorous, preying on insects and other small animals. Lizards are an extremely diverse group found in many different environments. Some common lizards include iguanas, geckos, chameleons, and anoles. The American chameleon has the amazing ability to change color to blend in with its surroundings. Snakes comprise over 1/3 of all reptiles. While most snakes are non-venomous, some, such as the rattlesnake, possesses poisonous venom capable of paralyzing prey. Snakes are capable of swallowing food that is much larger than themselves due to the fact that their jaw enables the mouth to open very wide. They possess special sense organs, including a forked tongue, capable of sensing odor-bearing particles. The order Crocodilia consists of 25 species of large, mainly aquatic reptiles, including crocodiles and alligators, and lesser-known gavials and caimans. Animals in the order Crocodilia are the largest living reptiles on Earth, ranging in length from 2.5 to over 7 meters. Most possess long snouts, powerful jaws, large teeth, and long, powerful tails used for swimming. The majority of these reptiles feed on animals they capture with their massive jaws. Crocodiles, recognized by a pointed snout, can be vicious and will attack large animals, including deer, cattle, and even humans. The American alligator, seen here in Florida, with its relatively flat snout, is less aggressive, feeding primarily on fish. During the past few minutes, we explored some of the fascinating features of amphibians and reptiles. We took a look at some of the common characteristics of amphibians, including the amazing process of metamorphosis that they go through. The origins of amphibians were briefly discussed, and the main amphibian groups were highlighted. We then explored some of the general features of reptiles. The origins and evolution of reptiles, including the dinosaurs, were explored. Last, the 4 living orders of reptiles were investigated, and some of their fascinating characteristics were highlighted. Fill in the correct word to complete the sentence. Number 1. Amphibians spend the early part of their lives in. Number 2. Is the process of an animal changing form at a point in its life? Number 3. To adapt to life on land, amphibians developed legs and to breathe air. Number 4. Are amphibians with elongated bodies and tails? Number 5. The skin of reptiles is covered with. Number 6. Reptiles are, meaning they do not maintain a constant body temperature. Number 7. Reptilian embryos develop in, laid on land. Number 8. Were the largest reptiles to roam the earth. Number 9. The order includes turtles and tortoises. And number 10. The largest living reptiles are in the order